think, quite regularly in this tournament. It's an important thing to look out for as well. I'm surprised he went for that shot with mid-off up, Harry Brook. I would have thought an easier shot to be down the ground. I know he does play the dinky shots very well. But you can almost bank on Sam spelling a lot of off-pace deliveries.
Heave to the leg. Richardson has to come in. He settled early, but came in and judged it really nicely. It's another catch. Daniel Sam says, stay where you are. We need to get through this as quickly as we can. Harry Brook. It's a glimpse of what all the talk's been about. He goes for 12. Just another slower ball there from Daniel Sams, who's pulling it back rather nicely.
Well bowled by Daniel Sams. As you said, Gilly's slow ball. Brook lost control of his hands. He's got out in front of himself a bit. Maybe better for the run. Look at these Australian wickets.
Show the world what it means to be a fan at fanatics.co.uk. A collection of officially licensed fan gear. Fanatics.co.uk. Officially licensed everything.
This Marbella villa, £250,000, and the car could be yours. Enter the Omaze £1 Million House Super Draw by midnight tonight.
Become who you were born to be. Study online with Arden University. Get the degree you need for the career you deserve. Join us at arden.ac.uk.
Another one of the new laws to come into the game. The new batter faces, even if they're caught in the deep. No more crossing of the batters mid-pitch. So we have to face the music straight away from Daniel Sams. It's very much a momentum swing for the Australians in the back half of this innings. 4 out on the leg side for the left-hander. 2's the call. Now he has a look and says no.
I reckon there was 2 in that. No, they're just a little slow out of the blocks. Maybe he just wants to get strike. He's only faced 3 balls though himself.
Halfway through the 18th over. Already one from Ellis and one from Richardson, you would think, to finish. 6 minutes remaining on the clock. They're doing well here, the Australians. They've really taken the air out of this from an England point of view. Still plenty on the board, still very competitive.
Well, I think if they can sort of restrict it to 205, 210, they'd be happy with that.
The key for me is Australia have taken wickets. In the last 23 balls, they've taken 3 for 27. And you've got to be brave enough when you are going through those patches to have the mindset of thinking about wickets all the time. You don't want set batsmen in at this time of the game.
Oh.
Well, Hales was the big wicket. You know, obviously Butler earlier, but Hales was going well. It meant 2 new batsmen at the crease, basically. And that's where the Australians have capitalised to a certain degree. It's still going to take some running down whatever total England get.
Moeen Ali, he pulls the trigger and he goes all the way. That is a big hit. Clears the rope, clears the fence. Shows his power. It closes out the 18th over beautifully for England. 4 for 193.
I'll tell you what, we've seen some sixes in this innings, but that's just about the pick of them. They've certainly smashed that, and with ease as well. Beautiful flow of the bat, and that's hit extremely hard on a long, long boundary. Don't need it much cleaner than that.
Good series against Pakistan, Moeen Ali. strike rate of 160. A couple of 50s not out. One of those 50s was on 23 balls.
He's an underrated hitter, Aaron Ali, but once again pitched up that delivery from Sams.
It's been the pick of the bowlers, Ellis. It's one last chance. It's a nice start for him. Sams finishes with 142 off his 4 overs. 3 minutes on the clock. The innings timer here at the ground. That's why you're seeing Nathan Ellis jog back to his mark.
Yeah, I spoke about the other night, actually, Gilly, that I think all the fast bowlers should have a short run-up as well. Like in the old Sunday league days in England where you could only run off a short run-up. There's that 6. Launch speed 137, launch angle 26. But that's such a good shot.
It's timing, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's not bludgeoned or...
No.
It's not just brute forced. Beautiful, sweet swing of the bat. Well bowled. Well bowled. Class from Ellis. When there's carnage all around him, he comes in and shows all the skills and executes beautifully. England lose their 5th.
Yeah, that's really well bowled there by Ellis. 2 dot balls. Made Curran try to do something that's probably not in his game. Attack the stumps. Another well-deserved wicket. What he's done tonight, Ellis has bowled really well to a plan. He's thought about where he wanted the batsman to hit him. He gets reward there of a wicket from Curran.
So he's bowled straight. And he's changed his pace. He's hit the pitch pretty hard. He's not very tall, but on occasion it's pitched up. So Curran's gone for 2. 5 for 193 England.
My parents always said I was born dancing. I just love it. Bhangra, disco, even line dancing. So I was thinking, I want my funeral to feel like a celebration with music, dancing, the lot.
With over 150 years' experience, you can count on Co-op Funeral Care to help you pre-plan the send-off you want. Co-op, it's what we do.
ICC T20 rankings for batters. Zawad Malan, number 5. He's slid down the slippery pole today after that fantastic start. He comes in at number 7, facing Ellis. He does what was requested by Mark Waugh. Maloney gets Moeen Ali back on strike. Terrific competitor. Nathan Ellis got 3 wickets in the opening fixture in India. In the first of their short series over there. 4 against Pakistan in T20 cricket earlier in the year.
He stiffed to miss out on the original 15. It was probably a shootout between him and Richardson.
And he's doing a job here for Aaron Finch.
Well, I do think he's improved. You know, I think he's got a lot more confidence. He's one guy that has kept improving. Some of the other guys have sort of stayed the same, but he's a guy you can rely on at death. Not an easy job to do, bowl the death overs.
There's 1 minute left on the clock. Here, the last ball of the 19th. And there's a wicket. Not sure whether that's a good thing or a bad thing. They needed to be in position for that next over when it went to 0. Ellis, whatever the case, picks up another wicket. He's got 3 for 20. Done a terrific job. Moeen Ali goes. Little cameo, 10 off 7. England lose their 6th wicket, 194.
He's done well. His slow ball bounced it into the wicket. Moeen Ali had no pace to work with. Here off spin.
I imagine he'd be a reasonably difficult bowler to pick up. He's sort of all arms and legs, Nathan Ellis. Got a long sort of winding action.
Moeen Ali departs. Australia have quickly got themselves in position. Chris Wokes at the non-strikers. Then David Milan will be on strike to face Kane Richardson. Just had confirmation from the third umpire that Australia are fine with regards to their overs. Must have just scraped in.
Yeah.
A big finish here for both teams.
Well, if somehow they could keep England under 200, they've done a remarkable job, Australia. England were looking at 215, 220, 210 minimum. 5 balls to go. It's 195, 2 new batsmen at the crease. Wokes, he's a good player. I don't think it's that easy just to come out and smoke them. Alex Hales and Butler made it look easy, but the rest of the batting's struggled to a certain degree.
Should be 2 there. Out of the blocks early, Milan. When I say early, I mean quickly. Down toward, I don't think. We'll see how closely that's monitored throughout the rest of this series, and then the World Cup. The run out at the non-strikers' end. Didn't take long, did it, to come at the forefront of discussion after it was all changed in the rule book, the terminology. Legitimate decision. It's over the man in close. Some leg work for Ellis, and the ball's going to win. Beautifully struck there from Chris Wokes. Takes England over the 200 mark.
It's an important milestone there for England. After the start, they got to get over that 200. Good shot here from Chris Wokes. Soft pace ball. Key to it, he hasn't tried to overhit it. He's timed it, over cover, lightning fast outfield here in Perth. Gets the reward he's after.
First time England have got over 200 in a T20 match here in Australia. Actually 7-1 Australia lead England on Australian soil. It's across a 10-9 advantage in their matchups in their history, going back to 2005. First time Australia and England played against each other in this format.
You two really playing them, were you?
We did play that game. 100-run defeat.
Played.
3 balls left. Well bowled. Very well bowled. Tough to do much. That sort of delivery is squarish third man, deep point, deep long off, and then 2 out on the leg side. Yeah. England was certainly further advanced in the T20 format than we were at that time, Junior. We might have almost played our full Test 11, and we swung as hard as we could. All out for, I think, 79, chasing 179. Oh, that sounded good. That's huge. Right out of the ground. Whew, that is a wonderful stroke, a wonderful sound.
That was a monster blow from Chris Wokes. He's just got that right on the up perfectly. Hit it high. Oof.
Well, it sounded so good, you'd have to think that's close to the middle, yeah.
That went as high as the roof. Well, there's no roof, but as high as the top of the stand. Well, there is a roof, but not a big one.
Roof over some patrons. Last ball, mid-off up. Ooh, hit hard, so they'll get through for a single to finish. Little cameo from Chris Wokes, 13 off 5, closes it out really nicely for England. It was a wonderful start, the opening partnership of Josh Butler and Alex Hales after they were asked to bat. Aaron Finch won the toss, sent them in, and thought it might do a bit early, and it did plenty right out of the bat of the opening partnership, but they finished their 20 overs, 6 for 208.
Very entertaining innings by England. Some pure ball striking, particularly from Butler, then Hales, and Wokes at the end. Australia didn't bowl particularly well, but they did drag it back to a certain degree. But it's a beautiful batting pitch here tonight. That is one thing the Australians will like. They'll like the even bounce and the pace. They'll fancy their chances, but they're going to have to match the ball striking with the English batting.
Aaron Finch leaves the field for the break. Will he come out and open? We'll soon see, but we're going to go down to the outfield with Kath Lockman.
Some serious knock by this man, Alex Hales, 84 off 51. How'd you find it out there?
Yeah, really good. I think in general it's a really good pitch. I think any time you score over 200, you're in the game. So a good start from us, and hopefully we can bowl well.
182 is the winning score here, average winning score. So you comfortable with 208 on the board?
I think so, yeah. It feels like a kind of 190 par pitch. When they missed full or short, it was really nice. And when they held that length, it was actually quite difficult with the bounce. So hopefully our bowlers can adjust to that.
Amazing opening partnership between yourself and Josh Butler. How did you enjoy the Butler show? Some return by the skipper.
Yeah, it was amazing to see. Obviously, he's been out of action for a couple of months now. So for him to come in and bat, make it look as easy as that was really good to watch from the other end.
How much did you want to make the most of this opportunity in opening the batting with the skipper?
Yeah, for sure. He's, in my opinion, the best white ball player in the world. So to get the chance to open it for my country again is a great feeling.
And did you feel pretty confident given you played a fair bit of T20 cricket here in Australia through the Big Bash?
I think so. It's always nice to have in the back of your mind that you've experienced this country a lot and you understand the conditions really well and how to score runs. But yeah, I was definitely nervous before the game today. But pleased I managed to get off to a good start.
Great start to the series. All the best for the rest of the series.
Thank you very much.
Well said, Alex Hales, and that is a nice way to start your Sunday, is it not? Unless, of course, you're an Aussie fan watching with us back here. 208 for 6. A lot of the legwork, as you can see, done by the openers if you joined us late. 68 from the skipper, and that 84 or 51 from Alex Hales that we just heard from. Little cameos later on from Brooke, Ali and Chris Wokes with that stunning penultimate ball, towering 6. And the Aussies did get better as it went with the ball, but they started poorly, I would think, by their high standards. Obviously a much changed team from, you'd argue, their strongest 11. Stoinis improved after going for 21 off his first over. Green also was punished, as particularly was the leg spinner Mitchell Swepson. But Ellis, the pick of them, with 3 from his 4 overs and 10 dot balls, an economy rate of 5. That's very good from the right armour. OK, we'll get the thoughts of, sadly, the injured Johnny Bairstow when we come back.
Meet the all-new MG4 EV. Say yes to comfort and practicality. Say yes to range. The all-new MG4 EV. Say no to compromise.
Pioneering Dyson technology in special edition Vinca Blue and Rosé.
Real love is making even the tough decisions easy.
Real love begins on eHarmony. On average, every 40 minutes, someone finds love on eHarmony.
Here we go, boys.
Christmas isn't just one day, it's lots of days.
This early Christmas? Right Christmas? Birthday Christmas? It's free Christmas!
There you go.
And then sadly it's done.
Don't worry, Ron. There's always Boxing Day Christmas.
Gifts for all your Christmases at Very. Choose pay now, pay later, or pay over 3 months and pay no interest.
This is everybody's Christmas rolled into one. Oh my God, I can't wait for this.
Isla Mahaja, 7 weeks in a row. He's the new to beat. This is a hell of a fight. Piotr Jan, an absolute savage. The Sugar Show is
So 200 from their 20 overs in this first T20 International in Perth. Just before we get Johnny's thoughts, let's point you towards what else is coming your way. The Gallagher Premiership later today, Wasps and Northampton. That's live from 2 p.m. here on One. There's also rugby tonight. Following that, there's also Premier League football today from Goodison. Manchester United go to Everton. 6:30, that starts on One and Ultimate. And it's followed by Premier League tonight with Lindsay and guests. And then, of course, the Champions League's back for match day 4. Tuesday tea time, it all starts. Games, of course, across the 2 nights, and Europa and Conference on the Thursday. So a busy week again. Delighted to have the company of the sadly injured Johnny Bairstow. As you can see, boot on that left leg. But you've enjoyed what you've watched, if not been able to bat as part of.
It was great, wasn't it? I mean, as a first run out in Australia, after coming off the back of Pakistan, the successful series over there, I don't think the lads would have asked for any more. It was a great opening stand by the fellas, and then to post 208. What a fantastic start to the campaign in Australia.
Yes, a bit better than a year ago at the Gabba, as I recall. I'm sure you do too, watching on from rather nearer that time. But Joss Butler back, and it's as if he'd never been away. Yeah, but that's the quality of Joss. He's done it for so long now. Up the top of the order, his record stands for itself up there. And he just played good cricket shots. It wasn't anything other than that. When they missed, he put them away, and he put pressure on, and when they do miss, he's able to do it. Yeah, no, absolutely.
Look straight away, a little bit of swing at the top of the order. It's exactly what you want, a couple there first up. I mean, that's just glorious. Kept missing full and then popped straight back over your head. It was the perfect start, and it really set the tone for the guys in the batting. And then when it comes to his skills with his ramps, put a man back and I'll still go and I'll pop it to 6.
Where do you bowl?
Well, where do you bowl? That's exactly the question. And his footwork against Swepson was really, really impressive. He missed full again, went really strongly down the ground, and then when he missed short, he got into position and popped him even squarer. So it was a fantastic start by Joss out in Australia. Look, he was unfortunate to get out in that way, but it was a good piece of bowling. Cramped him up for a bit of room.
Yeah, and Ellis definitely perhaps led the way in terms of cleverer bowling from the home side, who kind of worked it out as they went. But Alex Hales has probably divided opinion in England and across the world, but there's no one doubts his talent, particularly in short-form cricket. He can play.
Yeah, absolutely. He's back opening the batting, and he played well. I think that everyone knows that the runs he scored out in Australia. So look, it was a great start for him. And to add to that opening partnership, it was a shame that he got out when he did. Because obviously losing that slight bit of momentum then maybe stalled us a little bit towards the back end.
Slightly different player to Butler, technically?
Yeah, very different. Very different. He's obviously scores in different areas, although that definitely wasn't anything different.
Anyone would like that.
He's more someone that plants a base and goes from a base rather than moving around the crease too much, and uses his height, being a real tall fella at 6'4", 6'5".
Yeah, you heard in commentary, they got away with 1 or 2, although you wouldn't want to overstate that because there's a lot of clean hitting to go with the odd thick edge.
That's T20 cricket. You need to ride your luck in T20 cricket in order to get up to those big scores, and it's not your day if you're not riding your luck at some point.
This would be a record run chase, successful against England in T20s. It's big job this for the Aussies.
Yeah, it's huge. 208. We heard earlier that the par score at the Optus was 181. So generally chasing around there. 9s, they're now having to go up to 10s, 10.5s in order to chase us down. So look, I think it's going to be real key with how we start with our bowling. The bowlers have actually been able to have a bit of an insight into what lengths work best. We saw Australia miss full quite a bit early on. So with the experience of Chris Wokes coming back into the side, which I think everyone's delighted to see him back, coupled with the height of Reece Topley, and then we've already alluded to the pace of Woody. I think it's going to be really good for the guys just to see where they're at when it comes to the changing conditions and holding your length, especially in that first 6 before you you look at Rash, but don't be surprised if the guys go to spin fairly early.
Okay.
Especially with Warner at the top of the order.
Interesting. A positive start for England in Australia. Been a while since been able to say that. Delighted to have Johnny alongside us since he can't play. But in his absence, the boys have done very well, have they not, to post 208 for 6. Let's see how that run chase begins when we come back.
What's the point of rewards that aren't rewarding?
Sit, Barbara. Good girl.
Pick your own reward when you buy your car, home or van insurance at Confused.com.
Who said electrification can't spark excitement when unplugged? New Nissan Qashqai with e-Power. A unique electrified experience, unplugged.
Wayfair's 5 days of deals ends on the 11th of October. Find exciting prices on pendant lights only at wayfair.co.uk.
If you or someone you know owned or leased a diesel vehicle between 2009 and 2020, you could be entitled to significant compensation. Millions of drivers have been misled by numerous manufacturers about emissions, and hundreds of thousands have already filed a claim. It's easy to see if you're eligible. Simply visit our site now and check your vehicle instantly. It's completely free to sign up, and you can start your claim in seconds. Visit mydieselclaim.com and join thousands of others starting their claims today.
That's where we are. We're in Perth at the Optus Stadium. Big, pretty new bowl, and it's a pretty good turnout. Of course, they've been starved of international cricket for a long time in Western Australia, a closed state for 2 years and more through the pandemic, but they're back. 30,000 odds in to watch the old enemy post a big score, 208 for 6. I wonder, Johnny, whether you feel England's bowlers will look at what the Aussies were able to do in the second half of that innings and learn from them.
To do. Obviously, you see the strike rates of the guys at the top of the order really capitalising on the power play and any mistakes. And I think that's going to be very similar for the Australians. They'll be trying to come out fairly hard early on in order to try and utilise the power play and get a decent partnership in order to set their strikers up down the order.
They've been very coy about the order in which they'll bat. Skipper Aaron Finch has opened. He also batted at 4 against the West Indies in their recent couple of outings. Cameron Green is the one that shuffles with him, if you like. Obviously, Warner will open. Do you think it'll be Green today?
I don't know. Like you say, he gave nothing away.
No.
I think it probably will, if I'm honest with you. And, yep,
it is.
There we are.
There's the proof.
Cameron Green.
Good goal.
Yeah, so that's great news. We got that one right.
Yeah, we genuinely didn't know. I promise you, at home you think we were playing tricks. We weren't. The light show is obviously taking place just as they lead up to the first ball. One presumes, as Johnny has rightly said, it'll be Chris Wokes and Reece Topley to try and find a bit of swing, and Wokes with his excellent length normally and tidy stuff. Definitely the tighter, the smaller the hitting zone, the more successful the bowlers were from an Aussie point of view.
Yeah, absolutely, and just trying to utilise anything that was in the wicket. We saw it swing a little bit early on. We saw it do a little bit off the pitch as well. So Wokes will be trying to keep it as tight as we can. To David here, we know that is a world-class player, and if you give him any width, he'll try and put it away. But I do remember when we did play them in the UAE, how well Wokesy bowled it in first up. So, look, I'm excited to see this matchup and see how we go out there now.
Absolutely. Yep, the countdown again has been and gone. Warner to face Chris Wokes as we go back to the Optus.
And Chris Woakes has had success against David Warner. Got him for one last World Cup, caught behind. Very handy with that new ball. He's got it just to piss a little bit off the seam.
You generally come back into Warner, but then every now and then you'll get one to hold. It's a pretty traditional sort of test match length, even in T20s, Woakes.
Warner goes big early. Didn't get as much of it as he would have liked. So he'll get back for a second. End up by Topley.
He played beautifully. Sorry, Billy. Played beautifully in his last innings at the Gabba. David Warner didn't try to overhit the ball up there. This, I think it's a better bowling attack he's against tonight, no doubt about that. But I think if he can just sort of play in a similar style to the Gabba, that'll be good enough in the run chase. Cameron Green, we've seen him just go really hard so far in his short career.
Oh, boys. Oh, enough of it. It's flown over the top all the way for six. That got himself in all sorts of trouble. Ended up a bit of a duck hook shot, wasn't it? But, a bit top edgy.
I don't know how to describe that shot.
That's a metre outside off stump.
What it has done is brought about a field change straight away from Butler. He's taken slip out into a catch-in mid-wicket on the circle now. That's come about with the intent David Warner showed in the first three balls.
Oh, he slapped it back over mid-off. One bounce. So he's in the mood, Warner. Don't look away here. Intentions are clear. Get ahead of the rate. Senses it's a beautiful batting pitch.
It's a beautiful batting pitch, but you've still got to play the shot. It's just bludgeoned off the back foot. So this is a good start by Warner so far. He's matching Josh Butler. Blow for blow.
Yeah, 16 off the opening over.
Needs another boundary to match him.
Two's the call, but I don't think he'll get back. Just be the start that Cam Green needed to see his batting partner full fly.
Interested in Cameron Green's approach tonight. He's been all-out attack since he's been back in Australia. He's really given himself the chance to get used to conditions. He's gone from ball one in every game. It might be his role at the top.
Slip back in for the right-hander. An eventful opening over. Quite up there with Josh Butler, but 14 from it. Australia without loss.
Still pretty good. 14, you'll take that. Nice boundaries. 3 boundaries from David Warner. This one was a little lucky, but got a good result. And then this shot was just brute force off the back foot. So nice start by David Warner. I don't think Cameron Green will go as hard tonight. I think he'll realise that you just can't try and hit every ball for 4 or 6. Cameron Green's a good enough player just to stand there and play some proper cricket shots. Interesting that he's come out to open again. I would have thought Finch would have been opening tonight.
Left arm, Reece Topley. A bit of swing down the leg side. Made some big bash cricket with the Melbourne Renegades.
He's a bit of a wicket taker, Reece Topley. Not overly quick, but gets bounce. He's very tall, about 6'6". Can swing the ball. Got a good change up of pace as well.
Sound, a definite noise. They like it from behind, and Butler straight away signals, I want to look at that.
Well, Butler's extremely confident. And normally it's a pretty good sign there might be an edge there.
Third umpire to director. We have a player review for caught behind. Original decision is not out. I've checked the front foot. It is a fair delivery. Can I start with front on, please? Thank you. Front on, please. Ball appears close to bat there. Ball appears close to bat. Can I move to leg side hot spot, please? Yeah, thank you. Just roll it back for me. Roll it forward. Clear mark on hot spot. There is a clear mark on hot spot. I'll get you to go back on field, please. Donovan, I'll get you to change your decision to out. You are on screen. Signal now.
So Green goes. The experiment doesn't quite work again. It's an interesting time for the Australian T20 team. The juggling of their batting order, the juggling of their starting lineup. Australia lose their first in the second over, 1 for 15.
Wasn't all that attack from Cameron Green tonight. Good delivery from Toffee. Nice length. Just that length where you're not sure come forward or back, and it just did enough off the seam to get an inside edge. Butler knew it, didn't he, straight away?
He did.
Yep. Yeah, I just don't get Cameron Green opening in this game.
There's a good, healthy inside edge there. That well away from pad. Confirmed by Snicko and Hotspot. Green goes. His little run of outs continues. It brings Mitch Marsh to the crease at number 3 for Australia. Nice little hint of shape in to the right-hander from Topley. Been coming back from an ankle injury that we were all told that was never anything too serious. Saw him finish those Northern Australia 50 over games a bit early. Leg slicks come across to the offside now.
Enjoyed watching Mitch Marsh in this role at number 3. Plays fast bowling well. It's a really smart move to have him up there in Australian conditions. He gets in. He's just got brute power. Doesn't matter if the fielders are out. What I'm not quite understanding at the moment is why Aaron Finch wouldn't be opening unless he's going to change his role for the World Cup.
Who's going to open then? Cameron Green's not there. Yeah, I can't work it out. Mitch Marsh got a good record at Optus Stadium. 363 runs at 40, 350s. Striking in 156. Yeah, I really don't understand it. We just keep hearing the explanation. We're just tinkering and we want to keep our options open. Can we work out our options, what they are? You know, we're only 2 weeks out from the World Cup.
It doesn't seem like they're tinkering to me. It seems like Finchie's changing his position, but everyone else is staying the same.
Marsh opens his account. Tightening it up there. 5 on the leg side for the right-hander who's Topley with that little bit of angle in. We don't like not knowing, do we?
Well,
we always speculate. We sort of.
Yeah, but we can't find a common ground, some sort of answer that is logical. I can't anyway.
Yeah. Well, that's the man there. He's the only one that probably really matters as captain.
But he's opened basically all his career, and we're getting towards the World Cup. We're 2 weeks away, and all of a sudden he's batting 3, 4, opening.
He continues on what he started in the first over. He get it right out of the middle, but it's a deep pocket of the ground. He'll get back for a third. He's running hard. I think that's where they'll have to settle. So success for Topley in the first over. Concedes 6 runs, 1 for 20.
A bit of swing there for Topley. We didn't see the Australians swing the ball at all. So Topley's got a little bit of movement up front for England. You can see it's a little bit wayward, but did bowl the good ball, which got the wicket. But you can see that shape into the right-hander and a bit of bounce as well. Pretty accurate on that hanky.
Yeah.
Or tea-towel.
Bit of a rarity, it seems, in modern T20 cricket, a bowler bowling 2 in a row in the top of the innings.
Very rare.
Blokes will do it. Protection there, 2 out on the leg. Created havoc for the Australian top order in that match in Dubai. Chris Wokes, Australia were 5 for 50, 1 point. Ruled out for 125, and then the runs were knocked off in quick time. 8-wicket victory for England on that occasion.
So if Finch doesn't open, what's the other option, Mads?
Oh, heaved. Mitch Marsh. He's off and running. That was a feature of the T20 World Cup last year.
First ball
in the
UAE.
Final. First ball in the final, that exact stroke. A number of times he was able just to shovel it to the leg side. He's such a big man. He knows he can clear the rope at any point that he wants if the ball's in the right area.
This role suits Mitch Marsh as well. I think the new ball, he plays fast bowling well.
He's lost half his dinner throwing the ball back. You've just lined up, you're just sitting down to tuck in. Mitch Marsh put on the display and you lose your chunk of chicken and all your chips.
Oh no.
Looks like he's from Subiaco Cricket Club by those shorts. I know those ones well.
Okay.
The youngsters have played. Wembley District's junior club cap too. He's a local.
Okay. Himself about $10 there.
I think he's just waiting to get off the camera to get the 5-second rule and pick it back up.
Well, that'll settle Mitch Marsh down nicely. The fine leg up, it's a deep backward square, and out on the leg side and a deep third man. Yeah, there's a lot of unknown, and maybe Australia are happy to keep people guessing. Tradition would say that you want to launch into a big tournament with a stable lineup. Aaron Finch said at the toss that they're rotating around, they're shuffling because they don't want an unforeseen injury potentially to derail the whole tournament. So they want as many players playing and with match practice under their belt as possible.
That's the case, which makes sense. Steve Smith's your best number 4. And Cameron Green's not in the World Cup squad. Wouldn't you want Steve Smith to have some batting at number 4? Unless that's going to be Aaron Finch's role in the World Cup and Marcus Stoinis or someone else goes up to the top. But Marcus Stoinis, who's opened in Big Bash, has done a really good job for Australia at 6.
Oh, he's busy, Warner. Get rewarded with anything off the last ball, the third over, 1 for 28.
Pioneering Dyson technology in special edition Vinca Blue and Rosé.
there's Josh Inglis as well. He's in the squad. He could potentially open the batting, but he's hardly played.
Well, Maxwell, I think, will be 4 in the World Cup. Tim David at 5. Stoinis at 6 and Wade at 7.
So Mark Wood, it's his first look at this fast bouncy track. He hits 147.9 kilometres per hour. What an excitement machine this man is. What a character. You just feel he's the heartbeat of every team that he plays in. He energises, he lifts, he entertains. Mark Waugh finds him very hard to understand due to his heavy northern accent, but he is bowling wheels at the moment. He displayed it in Pakistan into the 150 Ks regularly. Does that carry? Almost. Again, Marsh tried to launch to that leg side.
He's not leaving anything in the locker room. Mitch Marsh swung extremely hard at both the first 2 deliveries from Wood. This hit the glove or high on the bat?
It's glove.
I think it's glove, but it's almost carried the fine leg.
So David Warner has some decisions. I'd be surprised if he just stays a bit leg side of it and tries to free his hands to get it over. Uppercut to third man. He's putting a deep third man in now. That's definitely required. No, change their mind. What do they do? Well, running everywhere. Yeah, third man's going to go down.
Man. It's a dead set catching position.
And I think that's what they're doing there, Junior. They're putting a better catcher down there than Topley. They're moving him to fine leg and seeing third man and putting a better catcher there.
He does exactly that, Warner. He didn't really have to move. He had enough length and width to work with and punishes it away. Warner looks like he's playing a different game sometimes. He's 21 off 9. Just opened himself up, didn't he? And Wood was right in the area that he wanted it.
This is going to be a great contest here. David Warner's in good form. He's going to fancy himself to take Mark Wood on here. Imagine Mark Wood.
And around the wicket now. 2 back on the leg side. Armpit. Oh, hammered. Classic Warner. Full power on display. He's motoring 25 off 10.
It's just come blazing off the bat. That like a missile off the stick. That pace of Wood, sometimes it can work against you. Swung hard. It's just flown across the turf. Good contest this. Exciting cricket. Too much width there from Wood again.
Fuel and change here now. Third man comes up. Deep backward square. Imagine Wood will go at David Warner's body here.
It's a bit easy for David Warner, that. Really nice batting. Putting all the pressure back on Mark Wood. 13 off his first 5 deliveries.
It's a poor delivery, isn't it? No third man. Mark Wood. Warner's seeing like a football at the moment. Played beautifully at the Gabba, and then 29 off 11. It's out of the blocks and giving Australia lots of momentum here early on.
Josh Butler's made his way all the way down to the bowler's end, had a chat and then sprinted back. Really, all Wood can do is possibly go short at the hips, at the ribs. But Warner, you still think will stay leg side of it. And 49.8 to finish the 4th over. Australia have got motoring, 1 for 41.
It's always exciting when a fast bowler's steaming in. I remember watching Sean Tate bowl to David Warner in a Big Bash game out at Homebush, and I thought, this is just it's great entertainment. A bit the same then with Wood. He's just steaming in, trying his hardest to bowl as quick as he can, and the ball's just flying to all parts. .29 off just 12 deliveries. David Warner getting deep in the crease.
It allows you just that split second of extra time when you're facing fast bowling, and decision making from Warner has been excellent. Hasn't tried to overhit anything. There's been any width. He's used the pace as well, and the width has been provided. A nice statement. It's a first round victory for Warner in that battle. Beautiful scenes here in Perth. Topley has been swung around to the Justin Langer stand end.
Feature of Warner's batting both here and at the Gabba was he's not trying to overhit the ball. You see at times he can move around the crease, but when he's in really good touch, he gives himself a solid base and then times the ball. And he's got so much power when he gives himself that solid base.
Over the top. It's muscle. Power from Marsh. Getting in on the act now. Pressure back on England.
Well, they're up with the rate. They need 10.47. It was originally 10.45, and it's at 10.47 at the moment. And both these players are just looking for boundaries, and it's a good tactic too inside the power play with just 2 men out. Almost get ahead of the run rate early, just to relieve a bit of pressure.
It's a nicely taken run there from David Warner. Nice early call. And the intention's clear from the Australians. They need to go at a good clip to chase this down. Opening fixture, 3 games. Dead all series. Head to Canberra, the nation's capital, for Wednesday and Friday. It is for game 3. So a terrific series for both teams to be playing. Australian conditions, given what's coming up, the T20 World Cup. They're the timings for this series. You won't miss a ball on Fox Cricket, nor for the big trophy coming up in a couple of weeks' time. Nicely helped by Warner. Just a single. Here's Topley. Just played the 4 matches in the 100 before, saying, I just want to rest now. I want to pull out and focus on the build-up for the World Cup to Pakistan.
He's had a horrible run with injuries, Topley. He wanted the opportunity to play in a World Cup.
Protection there, but they're not going to be able to roll that in. Too strong, Mitchell Marsh. He's up to 50 for Australia.
It's coming good time. You can hear the power with Marsh is hitting the ball. You can hear him grunting when he's hitting it. Oof. So he's putting a lot of effort into it. Got a few options, haven't they? Butler with the bowling lineup. Got Moeen Ali can bowl some spin. Sam Curran, left arm swingers. Adil Rashid's been a very good performer for a number of years. His leg spin. So they've got a few options. Ben Stokes, not sure whether he'll bowl, but he's very useful. So lots of options for Butler.
Warner's going quickly. I think he'll go, but no, I think Marsh might have been in trouble. 5 overs complete, 1 for 52. Australia were probably a little bit full, Junior, with their bowling. England have gone shorter, but it's probably the width that's really been costly.
Yeah, I mean, it's sprayed all over the place a bit there. You've got to really tuck batsmen up, aim at sort of the rib cage, the hip area. It's a very good batting track, so it's not much room for error. Sam Curran comes into the attack, so changes are coming for England. He's a really clever bowler, Sam Curran, not overly quick, but he swings it, got a good change up, good slow ball. I think Wood's a better bowler when he's got more protection. Just the 2 men out's not ideal for him. He's probably better through the middle where you've got extra men outside the circle.
Last over with the field restrictions in place. There's a deep backward square and a deep point. Almost a hint of swing there from the left armour.
Important over this for both teams. Australia want to make sure that they don't lose a wicket here. We've seen England in a similar position. Able to capitalise the over after then the power play when they took on Swepson, hitting for a couple of sixes. But you want to get momentum coming out of this power play to put the pressure straight back on the spinners and don't give them a new batsman to bowl to.
He's got the gap. Didn't get all of it. Got enough of it. Brute force from Mitch Marsh. There's the 21.
That's what it is. He's just looking to hit the ball as hard as he can. I feel like he wants to go straight down the ground against Curran's medium pace. Slow ball from Curran again. It's just like a tennis shot. Big brute.
Nowhere near the middle of the bat. That was the bat spun. Really nice adjustment from Curran.
England were none 58 after the power play. Australia on speed.
Watch that bail. Feel about 20 metres there off the return as the field gets set for Warner. Deep mid-wicket, deep backward square leg.
Five in the circle on the offside, 2 out on the leg. That's where it's angled. It'll be a leg by. 38 kilometres an hour there from Curran. It's surprising pace from it. Short man.
Yeah, it was very full, but yeah, I'm not sure he'd bowl too many deliveries at that sort of pace. Sam Curran, he's medium fast, I guess. Does a lot of slow balls. Swings the ball. Competitor, like his brother, Tom, played for the Sixers. Played quite a bit for England as well.
He's done a good job. Marsh goes back. He nearly stumbled when he turned for that second. He was desperate to get back to face the last ball of the power play.
The strength of Sam Curran is just that. He goes up and down the speed gun quite consistently. He's hard to get any sort of rhythm to. He bowls to his field. He's got a really good Yorker. We've seen that a couple of balls before. We hit David Warner on the pad.
Big delivery here. An adjustment from Curran. He wants extra protection on the leg side. Marsh with a decision to make. To try to capitalise while the field is up. Well bowled. Nicely bowled. He might get back for a second, but there's no damage by way of the boundary. Oh, a direct hit. They're all good. Still not dead yet. There's a bit of action. There we go. That's over complete. 6 gone. Australia motor along very well in pursuit of 209 for victory. They're 1 for 61.
Sorry, how do I invest?
With confidence, it's not about how, it's about who with. Choose those who expertly craft your portfolio and do the investing for you with simple, low fees. This is the secret.
Money Farm. Invest now. Get up to £500 on top.
Show the world what it means to be a fan at fanatics.co.uk. A collection of officially licensed fan gear. Fanatics.co.uk. Officially licensed everything.
I'm ready to make my decision for the big screen.
Nice just by stealth, that little review on that run-out decision. Not too many were aware at the ground, but correct decision made. Mitch Marsh got back for 2, so that made it 1 for 62 after the completion of 6 overs. Mark Wood swung around. He's got protection now. Battle resumes with Warner. David Warner just even if it's a flat bat, back over, mid-off, mid-on, over cover, almost that baseball swing. 150 kilometres per hour Wood has touched.
Always an excitement around the ground when someone's bowling at 150 k's. We've always got told the best spot to face someone at that pace is the non-strikers end.
Yeah, we're in the commentary box. Pretty good up here. Sean Tate, every time he come on, he's either going to go for runs or knock the stumps out. Shoaib Akhtar, Brett Lee. Better than seeing a quick bowler steaming on a fast pitch.
Pakistan have got some outstanding quick bowlers at the moment.
Actually, the world cricket has lots of good quick bowlers.
Oh, heaved. It's a long boundary, but not long enough for England. Mitch Marsh gets it over. That went so high. It's another 6. 7 4s, 3 6s. The Australians in hot pursuit.
This is some counter-attack by Australia. This is equally as strong as what we saw from Hales and Butler. That's just brute force. Yeah, it's pretty much out of the middle. Went a long way in the air.
He's 8 runs off his first 11 balls, Mitch Marsh. He's starting to get used to these conditions now. Growing up in the West, pace doesn't bother Mitch Marsh. Plays the square, the wicket, shots well. Backing himself, if he does get a short ball from Wood, put it a long way in that stand.
So the curator's just baked this pitch perfectly in these, wherever he's baked it, and dropped it in.
Yeah, it's been in the ground, out in the middle for 12 days.
Yeah.
Chatting with the ground staff before the game. They sit all 5 wickets, just sit out the back of the stadium, and that's a nice trajectory, that. Launch angle. You need to have hit it well if you're going to go at that angle. There was enough momentum to get it over a big boundary out there. And enjoyed by the locals. Local lad doing the job. And a little drinks break. Well, I think Mark Wood's getting some bit of sawdust or something going on. He must be slipping on this hard surface. Yeah, the pitchers sit in the trays out the back of the stadium, out near the practice wickets, and they take a lot of preparation through the winter months, cutting and rolling and
vitamins and whatever.
Keep in touch through the winter, a bit like us, June.
Bit of fertiliser, keep the bindies out.
This bloke's in good touch, seems all year around, David Warner, and he's got a very willing ally in Mitch Marsh. Gone shorter, have England, but it's the width where they've been punished. Partnership 55 off his 34 deliveries after Cam Green came and went early.
Just brute force from Mitch Marsh. That's a big 6 of Mark Wood, the most recent boundary.
Australian scorecard. 70. Finch keeps everyone guessing. Mentioned at the toss that he may well be at the top of the order. We'll just have to wait and see. Well, we found out. He's nestled in at number 4, it would seem. England bowls. Curran, tidy enough. He went for 1 boundary and then cramped up Mitch Marsh. Topley's success against Green early. It's beautiful conditions for batting. Beautiful pitch, quick outfield. Wood's ready to go again. I don't think the sawdust helped Mark Wood much. He just did what he did so many times in the Ashes last summer.
He just trips over strides, tries to bowl too quick. It's the deck a lot.
It'll be hard with this surface as well. It's like concrete out there.
Great scenes here since February 2020, where India played Bangladesh in the Women's T20 World Cup. Shafali Verma put on a hitting display. That was over at the Wacker. That wasn't at this ground, but it's long. International cricket hasn't been played in Perth. He's struggling to...
I don't know whether there's a little bit of dew out there, maybe.
Radar charging in. Not the sort of guy that sort of says, okay, I've been tapped a bit, I'll just pull it back a bit here. He's 150 clicks there.
I think he goes faster. The more he gets hit, the harder he goes.
He's also under pressure too. David Warner's taking him on, so he's not having things his own way.
Still mid on and mid off up. Spin yet from England in these 7 overs. Mitch Swepson that got the nod over Ashton Agar. Not sure if that's just an opportunity to play the leg spin or if Agar still had some lingering injury issues. Swepson really got a hold of him. 2 overs, none for 31. Holding it together reasonably well there after going for that big 6. Mark Wood, 1 for 73 after 7 Australia.
Yeah, imagine spin's not far away from them, just to change the pace of the Australian batsmen. They're loving the pace, they're going so hard and everything that's been served up to them. Crowd in tonight. There's 30,000 tickets had been sold.
Yeah, it's a nice crowd in. There's going to be 5 World Cup matches at this venue during the tournament. Plenty of cricket coming up. Huge summer. First Test match of the summer for the Australians will be here against the West Indies. There's so much cricket on all around the world, but it's all about T20 cricket at the moment. Sam Curran continues from the members' end. This little passage of the game is where David Warner is exceptional. He's got off to an explosive start, but just a shot like that, he's so busy. He knows how to manipulate it if it's not right in the zone to play the massive stroke to, and as soon as he hits it, he gets pumping, ready to push for a second.
He's very fit, and we saw the complete opposite from the West Indies when they batted. You know, they had none of that, and you know, you've got to do the basics right in this game. So Aaron Finch do exactly the same thing as at Metricon, where he ran hard, hit the gaps.
It's the 3rd time tonight Sam Curran's bowled a Yorker and hit the pads of the Australians. Talk about getting in and out of overs. This is why he's so effective in this form of the game. That there, it's just a bit quicker than you think at times. One's 138. 3 times he's hit the pads.
Full safety. Topley comes in.
He's got a slingy little action, almost a bit round arm. Almost 124, so he's up and down. And that makes it hard as a batter to line up a bowler like that. Whereas Wood's just consistently 150, so you know what you're getting with him, whereas Curran's big change-ups.
Well, like Curran, the trouble Australian more, I think, than someone like Wood. We're good against raw pace. It's consistent bounce on a wicket over here in the west. Where Curran goes up and down the speed gun, uses Yorker well. We see a bumper there. It's hard to get any sort of rhythm in your game when you're facing someone like Sam Curran.
A little bit of pressure here building on the Australians. It's a good over 3 from the first. Well, there's been 5 deliveries. One's been a wide, so still 2 to come. But 1 or 2 overs of pressure from England all of a sudden puts Australia under the pump.
Warner 4 off his last 8 deliveries. So I mentioned how busy he can be, but a little bit frustrated here.
Yeah, well, Mitch Marsh has probably just taken a bit of a strike, hasn't he, in recent times, and then Warner gets a couple of balls and he's not on strike, so it's lost a bit of momentum.
Just pushed too hard through that cover region. Great work out in the deep there. Harry Brook, young man, did the legwork, saved his team 2 runs. So it's a terrific over from Sam Curran. 6 from it. 1 for 79 after 8.
Discover Law Barista Sublime, a new compact coffee machine, a world of exceptional coffee creations. 2 espressos, an Americano, a cappuccino, a single espresso. Law Barista. Infinite creations, infinite pleasure.
I'm here for the passion, for someone who can lose themselves in the moment.
Real love begins on eHarmony. On average, every 14 minutes, someone finds love on eHarmony.
It's an interesting change here from Butler. Ashik comes on, does a lot of wrong into left-handed. I'll be David Warner. I'd be giving Mitchell Marsh as much strike as I can here. I think this is the over. Mitch Marsh can put a couple in the stand. The pressure on Rashid straight away. Matches up well. Hasn't bowled that well to right-handers over the last 18 months. He takes 17 wickets at an average of 36.
Beautifully played by Warner. It's the step hit.
No, I'll take the strike. I don't need to give it to Mitch Marsh.
This is the over though. This is the one you target. It's always big when you hit the first ball, the spinner for 6 or 4.
Yeah, Butler did it 2 in a row to Mitch Swepson. So short, straight down the ground. Can ill afford to be too full again. Adil. Long there. Mitch Marsh will get his chance.
Hold on, Junior.
Yeah, no, he'll be looking to go, I'd say, mid-on, mid-wicket. Yeah. I reckon he's got the weapon ready to fire.
Oh, beautifully bowled. The wrong one, not picked by Mitch Marsh. Adil Rashid does the job for England. His captain Butler, who had a beautiful view, Started on a reasonably tight line anyway, and then it turned in slightly to the right-hander and cannoned into the off stump. Australia lose their second.
Yeah, that's a big wicket there. Wrongan first up. Mitch Marsh hasn't picked a length there. That's his problem. It's a big wicket for England. They needed that. Mitch Marsh departs. 36, 26 balls.
Yeah, good bit of bowling. I think some.
With the biggest range of cars to buy entirely online, it's no wonder everyone's cinching it. Holly cinched it. The Pollock family cinched it.
I cinched it.
Even my mum cinched the quality motor.
You know you're everywhere.
This guy cinched it.
You'll go nowhere, son. Yeah, but no unexpected charges.
With so many great reasons to buy it. The nation aren't just nailing it, they're cinching it.
Impressive numbers for the Australian captain. 3,000 runs, outstanding strike rate. He's got a slip in now. He's facing Adil Rashid.
Yes.
So that wicket will just put a little bit of pressure back on David Warner. He's going to have to decide whether he continues to go so hard, but that's a nice bit of bowling.
I think he was definitely looking for the big one over Cow Corner. Mid on.
Gotcha.
It surprised me if Rashid gets a wrong out early to Aaron Finch. Occasionally see him get caught on the crease or looking to cut the ball off wrong-uns.
Well, he started with a 6 off his first ball, Adil Rashid, but he fought back beautifully after 9 overs. Australia 2 for 89. Breakthrough in the previous over. Joss Buttler goes to Ben Stokes. Heavily bandaged knee in warm-up. It's a cause of constant niggle for the all-rounder, but he's a courageous man. He wants to get into this T20 setup. Hasn't played for quite a while. Hasn't been at a T20 World Cup for quite a while. So he'll be keen to get through here and show that he's fully fit. Going to Aaron Finch. 3 out on the leg side. Couple outside on the offside. And short. Good wide.
Leg side.
Little exchange there, and Donovan Kosh, the umpire, thought it was too wide down the leg side, which is a tough call. Straight over his shoulder, really, it's like head high. I mentioned earlier, Mark, or England will play Afghanistan here. Australia play here, Pakistan play here, so too India and South Africa, so plenty of variety of the teams that will be playing out on Perth Stadium, and I think they've done that well, the World Cup organising committee, the way they've spread all the teams around. I know Australia play 5 different venues for their 5 pool games.
Oh, I think it keeps it fair, doesn't it, that not one team doesn't get advantage by playing in the one venue 2 or 3 times.
good work by Stokes to stop any overthrows there. England, we mentioned they play here against Afghanistan, Australia. They take on in the MCG. After this game, there's 2 games in Canberra in this series. Then they have England go to Brisbane and play Pakistan in literally a practice game before the World Cup. And there's how you can get your tickets there for the T20 World Cup.
I think India have they landed in Perth. They've been here for 3 or 4 days. They've played a practice game today.
They've got tomorrow, I think, against Western Australia.
The Wacker there to be.
Of course, this is the tournament, the T20 World Cup tournament. It's about to start. That was meant to have been played at the back end of 2020. It was then postponed.
Hence just the year between last year's World Cup and this one coming up. Up to 2. They'll run hard, these 2.
Army, they'll play a part during this World Cup too, I can imagine. That group there will grow and grow. Follow the English team around.
Well, it's going to be great to see the overseas countries supporting Australia. Already been told that India-Pakistan game sold out at the MCG.
Dealing in singles at the moment, Aaron Finch. Nice little halting proceedings here by Stokes on the back of the successful Adil Rashid over. They'll be well pleased with the last couple of overs, the way they've pulled it back. And you see Mitchell Marsh back in the pavilion, you know that there's some real damage that's been negotiated as a bowling unit. Damage avoided, but Warner's still there. Nice bowling. Really good start there from Ben Stokes. 7 from the over, and at the halfway point, Australia 2 for 96 as the players take a quick drink break.
When you're right at the top, there really is only one way to go.
And that is the record.
Absolutely top class. It's time! So much to get excited about.
The most competitive, the most entertaining league in world rugby. BT Sport are going to take care of you every single weekend. Just recapping the innings thus far, 96 for 2, the Aussies. Cameron Green and now Mitch Marsh have gone, so the old stages of Warner and Finch are at the crease. Excellent first over from Ben Stokes and Johnny Best. It'll be interesting to watch the plans that Josh Butler's put into place for his bowlers.
Yeah, absolutely. I think a bit of credit's got to go to the way that Warner's played at the top. When they've missed, with completely contrasting styles and statures of Green and Marsh compared to Warner, I think you're bowling at 2 completely different styles. He's obviously given himself a lot of width, and you've got 2 guys that are feeling their way back in. They've been out for a while, in a period of time. So it's getting overs into those guys when we need to, and that's been exactly the thing with holding Adil back. I think if it was a World Cup game now, Adil would have come into the attack a lot earlier than that, especially against someone like Mitchell Marsh. So this is great because it also means that Rash is able to bowl further down into the innings.
Remember, England were 118 without loss at the same stage, so Aussies need plenty from these last 10.
Ali to bowl some spin. He's not been successful against David Warner in recent times.
It's interesting that one over behind Gilly. I've been watching Butler on a couple of occasions. He's been running up to the bowlers, has to run a long way back. In the World Cup, you need your 2IC standing near the umpire.